Hi everybody, this is Kevin, and welcome back to another manga review. And once again, we're going to be taking a look at Eden Zero from Hiro Mashima with Volume 8. And this series is absolutely fantastic, getting better with each volume that I read. It's just terrific. I can't praise it enough. So, our heroes are journeying to the planet known as Sun Jewel in the last few volumes, looking for Valkyrie. And the team is a little bit separated at the moment. You have Wise, who stayed behind on the ship, Shiki and Himura, who were sent down to the underworld of the labor district to serve under Madame Karine because they were deemed criminals. And then you have Rebecca, who was just hanging out with Happy and Pino, who were also on the planet. And eventually they caught up with Shiki and Himura down in the labor district. So at the end of the last volume, we also got a lot of great reveals. We learned that Valkyrie had died protecting the people of the labor district. And in her battle, she had lost her arm and half of her face. Of course, she's an android, but she died nonetheless, and they left her there as a statue, as a symbol of hope for the prisoners. And of course, Hamara saw that and just broke down to tears because, as you know, she was her mentor and really like her surrogate mother. And speaking of that, we also learned that Madame Karine was, or rather is, Hamara's mother. And of course, Karine is the villainous, murderous woman who's in control of this planet. And, the fact that she had abandoned Hamara when she was a little girl and she was raised by Valkyrie, and all she ever wanted was to meet her mother, her real mother, and she learns that she's an evil woman. And really terrific backstory for Hamara. And I had said in the past few volumes that I think that she had the potential to be the best character. And at this point, she is the best character and my favorite character. So let's just jump right into it. It ended on a cliffhanger with Shiki confronting Madame Karine to basically ask her why she abandoned her daughter and to come down and speak to her. So here they are. And of course, you got the other three henchmen there. Nino, who helped Rebecca in the last volume, but is still working for Karine. Garo, and then this other dude named Baku. So they get ready for a great battle here. And she sends forth her punishers, these sort of robot guys who had imprisoned them last time. But he uses the gravity wave attack and just defeats them all with one shot and gets ready to attack the henchmen. And a lot of great action scenes here. And, he's not messing around. Shiki, when you get him enraged, he just lets everything go and just fights for his friends. And that's exactly it. He's battling her because Hamara cried. And really, Hamara just cried because, she couldn't really grasp the fact that, Hamara is a kind soul. And for her mother to be like this and to see her mentor Valkyrie dead, just heartbreaking at the end there. So basically, these dudes are talking about, they sent that kid up there to fight Karine. What the hell is he thinking? And Rebecca goes to confront her and is like, did you get to say what you wanted to say? Because it flashes back to all the different times they spoke. And Hamara was so excited to see Valkyrie again because it's been years since she saw her last time. I think they said 5 years. And Rebecca says, well, if you say it, I'm sure she'll hear it. And at that point, she looks up thinking about that. And meanwhile, you have this dude, Dracun Joe, and I think he's going to be like the big bad for the whole series, because we've sort of seen moments of him, and they're foreshadowing that he's like the mastermind behind everything. And it turns out that he's out in outer space looking for the Eden Zero, and he had hacked the satellite controlled by Madame Karine, the Oculus Karine, and that's what she was using to kill all the people from up above. And he hacked that, and he's got his sights set on the Eden Zero to track that ship and hunt down Shiki and all the ether power. So then Karine's like, all right, we're going to release the Karine Dragoon, then we're going to destroy everything. Destroy! So this is just Joe talking to his henchmen, and they're locked onto the Eden Zero ship in outer space, so they're going to be looking after that. So, Shiki's just dumbfounded here because this giant monster, the Karine Dragoon, comes down. It's this, like mech kaiju monster, and Karine gets inside it and controls it. And I thought this was kind of cool if this was an homage or what, but she's got like the scouter on, like she's a Super Saiyan almost, right? So just battling, and she's got like this ether force field around it, so Shiki's attacks aren't doing much. So she sends her punishers down to the labor district to battle the resistance down there. And I love their chant. We got it in the last volume too. 1 plus 2 makes 1,000,000 power. And Rebecca, are you sure it's not 3? And Pino, being all literal, calculation results perpetually 3. So Rebecca's like, all right, we'll help these dudes out. Come on, Happy. And Happy turns into the Happy Blasters, and they start, taking care of business. And this dude, that girl's really something. And Paul here, who is the disciple of Lady Valkyrie, and mentions that she's best friends with Homura. And she was the one who defeated Blackrock. And they're like, what? And that was the giant beast. And it was actually a team effort between Shiki, Homura, and of course Rebecca with the finishing blow. So now, this dude Baku, the axe wielder, comes down, just, beating every living hell out of the prisoners down there. And then, who's this guy who steps in there to block the axe? And Rebecca says, it's Wise. But he says, no, my name's Arsenal, the weapon-clad steel warrior. Yeah, it's Wise. Yeah, it's Mr. Wise's voice. No, I'm Arsenal. Yeah, it is Wise. So that's kind of funny. So that's who this guy is on the cover. And that's actually Wise there. I thought that was the guy who, Karina, remember there was a guy who went there to try to work for her and she burned his face? I thought that was him because Wise has like a new hairdo now, if you refer back to the older volumes. But, Shiki's no match for this monster here because, like Karine said, that she's got this ether force field around it, so all his attacks aren't really doing much. And, he keeps insisting his name's Arsenal. And she's like, oh, you're a hero now? Please, Arsenal, you have to save us. On one condition. Promise you'll go to the dress factory and put on the super sheer maid outfit. You're no hero. So this is a little recap here of basically Wise is getting bored waiting on the ship. So he had, the Shining Stars build the suit for him. And it enhances his ether abilities because his power is that he can enhance, a mechanical weapon. Or you saw I used Pino in the past before. So this suit just makes it so they can turn himself into a giant weapon, which is exactly what he does. But what happens is he didn't anticipate he would need this much ether power. So it's depleting rather fast. So he has to get ready to use one last attack. And you see he makes his one arm grow really big. And he uses the metallic explosion. You see a giant fist there. He just destroys this dude Baku. But, the suit breaks down and it basically comes off him. And it turns out he's naked. And he's like, no, my secret identity. Look at her eye. She's got like the boba eyes or booba eyes. Where are your clothes? Whoa, I didn't expect my suit to come off. The legend has begun. So he's sitting there with no clothes on. Basically like, all right, Rebecca, just give me your skirt at least. Because you got underwear on, right? And she remembers that Paul had the steal ability. And last volume stole her underwear. Because she was getting ready to do it. She was getting ready to give Wise her skirt. But she's like, no, I don't have any undies on. And you see, she's blushing. You gotta love Mashima. And then he still goes on having a conversation just completely naked. Where are Shiki and Homura? So then, of course, Shiki's battling this giant monster and getting his ass kicked, really. But is able to direct the attack into the ground. And they send him down to the labor district. Because they're sort of, like I said, the labor district is like the underworld. And Karine and her gang living on top there. And sends him down here. So what happens here is he's able to get all his power into one last attack, sort of like Wise did, redirect all the power into one fist here, and he does a devastating blow, and you see, he like breaks all his knuckles there and is able to really pack a punch there. So they fill everyone in, they fill Wise in on what happened to Valkyrie and what's going on with Homura, and whoa, Wise got new clothes, and hey, let's change Rebecca into an even more revealing outfit, right? So, gotta love that. Gotta love the fan service, right? So, they're in the armory here getting some weapons, and Nino shows up. And if you remember last time, Nino helped Rebecca get to the labor district and sort of had a thing for Rebecca because she had her great cosplaying outfit on. And there's his catchphrase again, and they will save the universe. And he's like, I have no choice, I have to do this. So it turns out that he's Nino, the fist of the heaven, I'm taking you down. And he's got ether power of his own, and he sort of turns into like Goro from Mortal Kombat, getting ready to battle. And she's locked in this room with him alone. Wise can't get the door open. Happy is taking a nap, and Pino's like, "Oh no, his arms are made of solid ether." So he's very powerful right here, and Rebecca doesn't have her friend Happy to help. But what happens here is she remembers that last time they had the tournament arc with Ziamel, and they all went up against these strange opponents, and she went up against an opponent with multiple arms. Wise went up against a really fast opponent, which Baku is fast. And Shiki went up against this metal opponent, and obviously going up against the Karine Dragoon. So it's all making sense now. And also, Homura went up against, a replica of Lady Valkyrie. And she says, "Oh, Ziamel knew the future." That was the last time Homura would see Valkyrie, and they were able to speak. And all the opponents had some sort of meeting there, and she was able to defeat her opponent using her feet. So she comes to her senses there, and it turns out that Rebecca indeed has ether power of her own. And her feet there, Miss Rebecca. So she's able to harness her own powers and, just she does it. Annabelle saved the universe. Then you can save people too, the people on this planet. So she's Bell Holy Slash. Gets ready to go. So then they have like this meta conversation here. That's an attack name from the manga, right? The anime version is Bell Holy Kick. Well, I like the manga better anyway. Me too. So, they sort of have like this meta moment, but it's cool to see Rebecca have her own ether power as well. And Ziamel's watching, just saying that she unlocked her true powers, and it's great that she saw that all those battles were foreshadowing the future. So, Homura really hasn't moved. She's still here just reflecting on the past here of how she couldn't really see Valkyrie in the end. And then this asshole, Garou, shows up with his whip and just whips her into shape here and is like, "Oh, I always loved her." And he starts like licking her, being a real creep, just taunting her, taunting Homura. And as a final blow to like really piss her off, because Valkyrie's dead and she's an android anyway, cuts her head off, in front of Homura. Just absolutely terrible. Oh, horrible thing to do there. And, this harnesses her own ether power using the Odin Strike, which is the power that Valkyrie used to defend all the prisoners all those years ago when she died in battle. So, she does that attack. But if you remember last time, he has like these ropes or these whips that he can tie people up to disable their ether power. And then he's looking around and he sees that Valkyrie's sword is missing. And you saw the Odin Strike attack. She had summoned a bunch of swords, and Valkyrie's sword is actually in the air. And she sends it flying down into him, impaling him. Look at that. Damn right. He deserved that for sure. So Rebecca and Wise come down there to see Homura. She's all tied up. This dude's all bloody. Valkyrie's missing her head, and they're like, "Oh no, what's going on?" And what does Homura say right here? "Shiki, Rebecca, I have your words to thank. It is because I had all my friends that I was able to stand up and press on. Now I can keep pressing on because I have all of you." So Homura has finally come to terms with her mentor's death and realizes that she has friends and people who care about her in this world, and that's the reason for her to keep fighting. So now, as a last-ditch effort here, Karine sends forth the Queen Nova Fire, this giant bomb or giant missile right at Shiki, and it's a heat-seeking missile. And going after Shiki, but Shiki's able to redirect the attack, so he just jumps onto the windshield here and redirects the attack right into her. And gravity impact, just all sorts of great action going on. And that's it. Karine's, been defeated, basically sent out of that mech kaiju thing. And she's all there, and all the prisoners are like, "Yeah, we finally beat her, we got her, it's all done." And Nino sort of has a change of heart. Can I save anyone? Nino, stop them for us. Look at that. And Wise is jealous because, Wise likes all the girls, and he's definitely hitting on Rebecca. Who's that bearded old blue? He's a famous B-cuber. So, Homura's here, Shiki's here. He had this epic battle, right? You saw how crazy he was going with his powers, and he waltzes on in here, yo. You would think, but he's just a goof. You would think that he would have something more meaningful to say, but it's just yo. So he's got Karine and Homura face to face. mother and daughter. And these people have had enough. They're like, let's just kill her right now. She deserves it. And Hamura's like, no, I need to speak to her. It's my mother. We need to, at least hear ourselves out. And what happens is Hamura takes this doll that she was carrying around with her for all these years and shows it to her. And if you remember, Valkyrie had asked her about it in the past, and she said, it was a gift to my mother, and I always keep it with me to remind me of her. And look at Karina. What is that? You don't recognize it? It is the one thing that connects me to you, but even that connection seems to have been severed. And she's getting her blade right at her mother's neck, basically threatening to end her life. And she says, those who died because of you surely felt just as you do now. And she actually cuts her loose. And she's look at her sweating like, oh, Hamura, you forgive me? What a kind, gentle girl. It is not because I forgive you, nor is it because I do not forgive you. I have no interest in you. Thank you for bringing me into this world. However, I have no other feelings toward you. My mentor thought that I needed a mother, and she went to find you. But a mother is not what I required. What I needed was someone to love. You may be my birth mother, but I do not love you. I do not need you. She may not be related to me by blood. She may be a machine, but if I love her, then she's the one I need. It was Valkyrie. She is the one I love and the one I need. Therefore, as I bear you no anger, no resentment, and no sympathy, I would prefer it would you depart without delay. And I humbly request with all my heart that you stay out of my life forever. Wow. Great monologue there. And just all the reactions from the prisoners, from Shiki and everybody. And she's just running away. And then, would you look at this? Hey, there you old hag. It's nice to see you again. If you remember, this dude was the dude whose face got burned in the last volume. Remember, he was like auditioning to work for her, and she burned his face. And he's like, you crazy old, and he's got this mask on. And they just start beating her senselessly. And he says it's what they call karmic retribution. Fantastic. So, Hamura goes back to Valkyrie's statue. They put her back together, and she gives the doll to Valkyrie just to remember her, and concedes the fact that Valkyrie was indeed her mother, not her birth mother, but her surrogate mother, and her mentor, her friend, her mother. So they're back on the, they cut over here to Zayamel, the narrator, basically saying now that Karine's gone, they have a new democratic elected official in charge there, and there's no longer any prisoners, and they're actually getting paid to mine the resources there. And they're back on the ship, and Moskoy is just, look at Moskoy crying. But everyone's upset because they've told everyone that Valkyrie's dead, and Sister's really pissed because she's like, well, we could have just reprogrammed her. And they're like, no, we had to leave her down there. She's a symbol of hope to the people, and rightfully so. And they have a little back and forth basically saying that even if we did program her, it wouldn't be the same Valkyrie, so we can't really do it. And then, Shiki comes to terms there, too, because, his grandfather, the Demon King Ziggy, had died, and he was a robot, and he had mentioned that robots have hearts, and, he loves everybody, Shiki. So Hamura says, well, I'll be Valkyrie then. Why not? I'm the only one that can truly replace her. And then you see in the background, too, this guy, Captain Connor. He's still there. He's still aboard the ship. So then it turns out Jock and Joe and his goons were actually following a fake Eden Zero. There was a replica because earlier they had seen that they were sort of lingering behind, and they had made a replica and just to lure them away. So they stalled some time there, and then they embraced here. Sister and Witch just crying about how Valkyrie's gone. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And then you got an afterword from Mashima mentioning the fact that he does digital art, and they work 4 days a week, so they get 3 days off, because obviously this is the weekly manga, and he's got a lot of staff. I think he mentions he has 3 staff members, and they all have different things they do. Like, there's a certain guy who does the, he obviously does the layouts and stuff like that, and other guys shade in and backgrounds and things of that nature. And he meets them like twice a week, but mostly digital art and online. So that's pretty cool. I like reading the afterwards, but This was fantastic, man. I love this series. I can't wait to see what happens next. Like I said, Draken Joe is going to definitely play a role. He's going to be like the main villain, just because we've seen him a few times, and it's just going to be the way it is. Just look at him. So he's going to be the main villain. And just Hamar and her backstory, seeing, there's Nina again, seeing Wise in the Arsenal costume, getting our great fan servicey scenes, and fantastic series. I can't complain. This is great. I love it. I can't wait to read Volume 9, and I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and stay tuned for more reviews in the future. And also, please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And thank you for watching. Have a great day, everybody.